How's it going? I thought I'd talk to you for a few minutes about being the change that you want to see in your life. Whether it's fitness, health related, job, goal related, there's something that you would like to set forth and achieve, you have to make a collective effort, or else that's obviously not going to happen. It's not a matter of having the cash to go out and buy something, because again, it would be a matter of working to save up that cash to put towards what you want to buy. But in the grand scheme of how things have transpired, be the change that you want to see in your life came about for us many years ago when we were living on Vancouver Island in Duncan, in Cowichan Valley, British Columbia. Just gorgeous, gorgeous little area. 3,000 people or so in Duncan, maybe 30,000 in the whole valley. The island itself, Vancouver Island, I think has between 700,000 and 1 million people. So if you're living in a huge populated area, that's, you know I'm coming from a very small kind of urban environment. Adele and I decided that we wanted to get off the island because A, being on Vancouver Island was more expensive than living on the mainland, just because of the cost of getting things to the island. You're also dependent on ferry service, so when the weather's bad and the ferry service doesn't run, you couldn't get off the island if you wanted, unless you had a boat. And again, you're on an island, so shit hits the fan, guess where you are? You're stuck on an island. So we made a collective effort and decided we were going to look at a myriad of different properties, starting down in Vernon all the way up to this property that you've seen in the Chicolton. And we ended up having a trip that coincided with looking at all these different properties, and when we finally got here, a view of the mountains, some land, some outbuildings, and remote. And here we are. We came into this with a plan. The obstacle course was something that I thought of when I lived back on the island. If I ever had land, I wanted to build an obstacle course. Not for anyone else, but for Adele and I to train on. I wanted my own playground. And obviously, as you've seen, we're getting pretty self-reliant out here, and that's part of that steep learning curve that you'll notice that we're on. I had a conversation with a friend yesterday talking about individuals that may or may not romanticize living this type of lifestyle where you raise a few animals and grow your own food and, try to stay as far off of society and keep off its tit as much as possible and be self-sustainable. And knowing a lot of folks that have been out here for 30, 40 plus years, folks that have that ideology that come out here with a lot of money and get everything built, realize the amount of hard work, and they jam out within a couple of years. So we didn't fall into that category. We are the mantra, live hard and die free, and we are hard-working folks just like many, many, many of you are out there. So we had this plan of this is what we're going to do, and from the idea to putting it into motion to actually moving, we put our house on the market. It was on for 35 days, and I ended up helping sell it through a client that I trained, their father. And from that point in time, it was probably 60 days later. So within 3 months, from the time we put it in to the time we got on the boat. And the move was, it was a move. It was a half-hour drive from Duncan to the ferry terminal, 2 hours ferry crossing, and then 8 hours north and 2 hours west to where we are. So it is doable. So all I'm saying with this, and I and Adele, we're nothing special. We're just got a work ethic, an idea, and we're trying to make it happen. So I have some friends out there that want to do the same thing, and I implore you, have your plan, have it all put together, get all your ducks lined up, and make it happen. Because I don't envy anyone that lives in a concrete cave, no offense, or in the urban environment. I've lived in cities that had 4 million people, and everyone was a fucking zombie, and they just went by each other. Mass transportation, just zoned out, just ignorant to the reality of life and what the world was really like around them. And, you know, outside my window is nature, and as crazy and populated as the world may seem where you live, that's what most of the real world is like. So, be the change that you want to see in your life. Thank you very much for taking the time to listen. Live hard, die free. Hey Jerry. It's one of my girls. You'll see her in a later video. Jerry.